a look at what History Hit has got on about. What are they on about? Inside Ireland's best medieval castle. Let's go. I like seeing Ireland.
This is a series about castles.
Yeah.
And how they help tell the story of a place full of history. Ireland.
Man, what a beautiful
These are the
imagery.
powerhouses that dot this Emerald Isle.
I like the word Emerald Isle. Usually I imagine Sardinia when you say that. But look at this location, the placement of this watchtower over here. And literally you can see anyone who's being a Muppet and they're starting to appear here. People on the watch, see them, run, let them know, prepare the archers, ready the crossbows. So cool that they could do this and it still sort of stands. It's a little ruined, a little bit of ruins, but then again, you know, we build stuff and it crumbles after 2 years, so what can we say?
These are the powerhouses that dot this Emerald Isle.
Yeah. Even this tower.
From green hills to rugged coastlines. I'm exploring 4 magnificent monuments that lie at the heart of Ireland's story. From ancient high points to Norman keeps
Wow.
and medieval citadels.
That Norman keep looked amazing. I'm going to show you a Sicilian Norman palace in a little bit. Keep watching.
In this first episode, I'm going all the way back to the beginning, to the place where high kings of Ireland projected their power. This is the Hill of Tara, a place steeped in the myths and legends of Ireland.
You know what's crazy? Every time they show me, I don't know if it's just me, probably it's the same with you, but every time a show, I see footage of Ireland, it looks exactly like I imagine it. It looks exactly like I imagine it. How is that possible? I've never been.
I'll discover how things changed dramatically when the Normans arrived.
Yeah.
Exploring a fascinating document that influenced the view of Ireland for hundreds of years.
This is something absolutely extraordinary. It is a copy of the single most controversial work written about
Man, he's red. Goodness gracious, did they cook him?
Ireland by anyone, ever, anywhere.
And
cool.
getting hands-on to investigate these structures full of stories.
Look at that.
These are the castles
Okay.
of Ireland.
Castles have made Ireland. All right. Let's go. Cool. Man, look at that. Drive safely. Don't do the in real life streamers things. They get into accidents. Part 1, High Kings. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much. You know, High King kind of sounds like what they do in the language community, where king is a cool name, but if everyone is a king, I'm a high king. Likewise, in the language community, I'm a polyglot, that's really cool, but after a while, okay, then I'm a hyper polyglot. Same thing.
The Hill of Tara is located near Skryne in County Meath, Ireland, an hour's drive north from the capital, Dublin.
All right.
In Irish, it's known as Taimhir, or Cnachna Temhrach.
Wow. Yeah, this is making me want to play a Souls game. I don't know why. I kind of want to play a Souls game, maybe even Elden Ring.
The Hill of Tara was an ancient site for celebrating spiritual and political power.
Yeah. Cool. Hill of Tara.
There's Neolithic, Bronze and Iron Age evidence of communities gathering here.
I imagine like 5,000 years ago, before the Neolithic.
This place has been a meeting point for over a millennium. Almost 150 High Kings of Ireland were crowned on this spot using this, the Lear Fall, Ireland's Stone of Destiny. Mystery swirls around this piece of stone. It's claimed, for instance, that the real Stone of Destiny was taken to Scotland at one point and became the Stone of Scone. There's also
That would upset the locals. I see some coins on the ground. Do they do the same thing that we do in the Fountain of Trevi?
another legend that if the true King of Ireland puts his foot to this stone, it will scream out with joy. Let's see what happens.
He's gonna try it. He's gonna try it. Sorry, mate.
Nothing. Not me then, I'm afraid.
Kind of reminds me of the older Fable games that have this kind of things. I always thought Fable was fantastic.
Although it's surrounded by ditches and earthworks, Tara is too small to be a fortress. It's more a place to symbolise power, and it's certainly attracted plenty of legends. There's even a rumour that the Hill of Tara was the resting place of the Ark of the Covenant.
Wow.
And in 1899, a group excavated the site to try to find it. They were
I wonder what the heck they based that one on. Definitely not on biblical archaeology.
unsuccessful
Yeah.
and caused a lot of unrest trying. Protests from famous 19th century Irish writers like W.B. Yeats and Arthur Griffiths stopped their search. Historian Margaret Brady is my guide to this intriguing place.
The Irish for Tara is Tiaur, meaning set apart, and the Greek meaning for Tara is sacred space. So if you put those two things together, you've got the essence, I suppose, of what the Hill of Tara is. And it's this domain where the gods and the goddesses sit alongside mortal kings.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's always been a connection between governance and religious power. I mean, think about it. The freaking Egyptians, completely different situation, and that the pharaoh was a god. To the Romans, the emperor was a god. To the Japanese, the emperor is a god. There's often, and then when it's not, even the medieval kings, their power was given unto them from God. And likewise in China, the heavily mandate of the Chinese dynasties, for instance, like Qin Shi Huangdi, it's always like that. It's obvious. It's kind of a justification at the same time. It's a reconfirmation of authority. That's what it is. I mean, I think we all know that. But it doesn't surprise me that it's going to be the same in a Neolithic culture if that's how far back it goes.
Kingship is this fine line of keeping the gods and the goddesses appeased and keeping the people happy. And the justice of the ruler, Firflaham, is this code of ethics that kings ruled by. So you had to be truthful and just and peaceful, fertile and physically perfect. But if you lived by that, plus all these list of taboos and things that they weren't allowed to do, then that meant that the sun shone and the grass grew and the crops were successful and the people were happy.
I can see the connection.
And to be
there.
king of Tara gave you a higher status than anywhere else in the country.
Hence High King.
In the early 11th century, Ireland was split into 5 provinces: Ulster, Connacht, Leinster, Meath and Munster, each ruled by a separate king. Power would ebb and flow between them until one king united them more than any other, Brian Boru.
Awesome look.
Boru was an Irish king who ruled over his home province of Munster and then took over Leinster.
Cool.
Although Boru's side won, the losing side on their way home found an elderly Brian in his tent and killed him.
Oh, wow. How was he not defended? Where was his guard? Come on, the guard of the High King? That sounds like a cheat. They downloaded some DLC or something. It's not normal.
His reputation as an Irish hero endured thanks to this victory. He was the penultimate High King of Ireland and is remembered as one of the first people who began to unify Irish kingship. But it's not just Boru who's kept Tara in the history books. Another man holds spiritual significance here. He unified Ireland not by power and politics, but by faith. This was a man who is integral to the establishment of Christianity here and remains a symbol of Ireland across the world. He came here over 500 years before Brian Boru in the 5th century.
I'm waiting for the name.
He is St. Patrick.
I wanted him to say that. It should, as I've mentioned already a few times, but it shouldn't surprise that religion was in fact the collagen, as I often say, that combined and unified people of different culture, different languages as well sometimes, or perhaps different dialects or regional variations of similarly related languages. People that didn't have as much in common as you might think, but they were all unified by Christendom or Christianity. It really functions. One thing I want to add to that is that it really, if you think about it, Christian and pagan is the same thing in the Middle Ages as, for instance, what happened in Rome when you were a citizen or a barbarian, which is once again a more sophisticated version of in-group, out-group, that we can go back all the way to the Paleolithic, when it's like, I'm a member of the tribe. In fact, it probably started with the family. Family, you're in the family, you're outside the family. Tribe, bigger family. Are you part of us or you're one of them? And then go more and more until with Rome it becomes, are you Roman Empire or are you one of them, barbarian? In the Middle Ages, rather than doing this in a social civic sense like the Romans did, with a bunch of culture in it, they did it through religion. And it's the same thing again. Are you a Christian? So you're one of us. Or are you a pagan? So you're one of them. And what's interesting is when you do that, the reason why I say it functions very similarly to how Roman citizenship worked is because in Rome you could have a Gaul. So ethnically you're not one of us. You're a Gaul. And even your religion is different. But you become a citizen, you subdue, you bend the knee, you pay your taxes, and then there is another Gaul. Ethnically you're the same, but we distinguish you. Well, that one is a barbarian. You're one of us. Isn't that fascinating? And that's the same thing that happens with Christianity, because you could be ethnically different up to a certain extent. You could be a Celt, you could be a Germanic, you could be even Norse, Danish, yet you are Brittonic, whatever the heck, but you're a Christian, so you're one of us. And instead you have someone else who is perhaps the same as you, ethnically, speak the same language, but he's a pagan, so he's not one of us. It really is that. And it's more powerful that way. That's why politically it makes more sense to do this. Because, of course, those who are one of us will fight for us, will pay taxes to us, will subdue to us and our will. That's more potent when you use ethnicity. And when I say ethnicity, people often misunderstand and think that ethnicity or ethnic is just another way to say race. But it's not. Ethnicity includes race, sometimes even all the way back to a common ancestral genome, but ethnicity is a deeper, denser word than race, because race is phenotypic traits, genetic traits, we look alike, that's race. But when you say ethnic, it includes language, culture, religion. It's a much stronger binding element that you can use to govern people.
How does the role of Tara change when Christianity comes in and those pagan gods begin to be pushed aside?
There you go.
We embraced Christianity very quickly as a country. St. Patrick arrives to Ireland, having previously been here as a slave. He was taken by Irish raiders. It's thought somewhere along the Welsh coast from his home as a younger boy. And he was brought to Ireland for a number of years, where he tended animals on a mountainside. It's thought to have been Slievemish. And he escapes, makes his way back home.
St. Patrick then returns to Ireland. He knew the significance of Tara, and lights a fire at a hill close to here to begin a fight against the druid king Leora. Patrick is taken prisoner and faces the druids. He performs a variety of miracles and in the end defeats the druids, telling them that as he has won, they must accept his Christian faith.
GG.
So Patrick is very aware of the power of Tara and the need to get here to influence Ireland if he wants to convert it to Christianity.
If anything, he was probably ahead of his time because he knows that Tara is the centre of the world. We always think of St. Patrick as driving the snakes from Ireland. The reality was probably that the snakes were the non-believers.
Aha.
Patrick succeeds because he sells Christianity to people in a way that they can believe. He uses the shamrock for the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. He takes some of the pagan ways, he blends them into Christianity, so people...
I mean, that's kind of what they did as well in Japan for a completely different idea, but Jesuit priests, you know, usually the uniform of Jesuit priests is all black. Yet for a certain period of time, it's a matter of decades, I don't remember how many, but I think it happened for about like 60 years or so, the Jesuits changed their outfit color into orange. You will see this in iconography, kind of want to show you if you haven't seen it. When you look at Jesuits and they have the black, dark uniform, that's what you usually imagine them looking like. And then it starts popping up. It starts popping up. It's a thing. You will find it all over the place. And the reason why they did that is because orange was the color of clergy in the Buddhist sense. So they adapted the color so that the Japanese would look at them in a way that it was easier for them to identify, oh, this is a man of spirituality.
Tara represents the nexus, the focal point of both political and spiritual power in Ireland. So this is where he needs to get to deliver his messages.
Makes sense.
The Hill of Tara is a place of history and a place of power. Somewhere connected to thousands of years of ancestors, a place where high kings of Ireland would come for its political and spiritual importance.
Yeah, even more so. If it's spiritually important and connected to the local population, of course, you need to connect to that in order to kind of present even a more valid, strong influence onto the people, because it makes perfect sense.
From here, you can see 20% of the entire landmass of Ireland.
Wow.
It really is a focal point, and that's why Patrick would come here in his efforts to introduce Christianity to Ireland. He knew that this was the place to do it. This was not just the political, but also the spiritual hub of Ireland.
Right.
And even as the political importance of Tara began to wane, it's still a place that people remained connected to. It's always had an important story to tell at the heart of Ireland. And even today, people will come here still hoping to connect to that past.
I heard this music before. Where did I hear it? I heard it before.
The structures here at Tara show its importance since the prehistoric age. Although, in the later medieval period, Tara would no longer be the seat of kingship in Ireland.
Look at that tower, man, I can already place my troops from Age of Empires.
In 1167, the King of Leinster was deposed by the High King of Ireland. The King of Leinster fled to Wales, determined to regain his position. He turned for assistance to the Normans.
Wow, look at this image. That's beautiful.
His request is recorded in the contemporary poem of the Song of Dermot and the Earl. To you I come to make my plaint good sire, in the presence of the barons of your empire. Your liegeman I shall become henceforth all the days of my life, on condition you be my helper, so that I do not lose at all.
Oh yeah, 155,
You
apologies.
I shall acknowledge as sire and lord. Then the king promised him, the powerful king of England, that willingly would he help him as soon as he should be able.
Okay, love the lettering. Reminds me of Oblivion. Nice production value.
This would begin a process of colonisation of Ireland that would change Irish history forever. On the 1st of May, 1167, the Normans invaded.
These Norman Muppets, they can't stop, they can't help themselves now, can they?
Unlike their invasion of England in 1066, in Ireland, the Normans had to play a different game. Ireland.
Don't you love images of Normans? There is something about it, I freaking love it.
The Normans had to print game. Ireland wasn't as malleable as the Anglo-Saxon lordships had been. So, instead of a one-day battle with a couple of months of an aggressive takeover, this hostile land would need a few years, and even then, some areas were still off limits.
Man, the Irish.
From 1167 to 1171, the Normans sailed across and viciously battled and won against many of the kings of Ireland. After their wins, they tried to play some of the same tricks they'd done in England to assimilate, mixing their traditions with the Irish and marrying their children to the High King's offspring. But this wasn't the only thing familiar about their invasion. With them came these. Castles.
Yeah.
Castles spread across Ireland.
That makes perfect sense, by the way, because castles are part of an effort for territorial control. It's not just a residence of someone important that has defensive capabilities. It is territorial control. That's why there are so many castles in freaking Wales as well. And I think personally it's connected to the idea of the castrum or castra of the ancient Romans, which was used for the same thing, for the same reason. It's an area, it makes it easier to control an area for your armed forces, because if anything happens, you have somewhere to retreat to, which is highly defensible, while you wait for support from other, not to mention that it has all the other perks that, a castle would have.
First,
Makes sense.
as wooden keeps,
Look at that.
before being cemented in the stone we still see today.
And hybrid. Early medieval castles were hybrid of wood and stone. Sometimes even wooden fortresses in the medieval period. They were built around naturally defensive areas. So if you have like mountainous terrains with some high rocks, and then you build the rest of your fortification, you know that they can't access from this side because of the natural positioning. So even early wooden, when you think about, yeah, but wood doesn't sound like they can burn it. Sure. But then again, it's not easy to set ablaze an entire wooden structure. You can do it. That's why the Japanese use plaster. Look at that one. My gosh. Gorgeous. I love round towers, by the way. They're my favorite.
One of the most spectacular is here at Trim in County Meath. It's nestled on the south bank of the River Boyne, about 25 miles from the Irish Sea. This gigantic 30,000 metre square building sits on a bed of limestone. It took 30 years to build and is the largest keep in all of Ireland.
That is Crusader King, all right? That is Crusader. I've built stuff like that. Absolutely. That's a keep, all right?
This is the very top of Trim Castle's keep.
Trim.
It's amazing to stand on this spot where for 800 years people have surveyed this countryside. You can see for miles in every direction, but for anyone who lived within sight of this imposing structure, it would have been a constant, visible reminder of a new power that was intruding into their lives.
Totally.
The original wooden keep, an earthwork fort, was burnt to the ground by Irish rebels.
Wow. So like we build a keep, it's tier 1, you've burned it to the ground. I'm going for tier 2. Man, this is probably tier 3 already. That's resilient though.
But 3 years later, these Norman overlords decided enough was enough.
It was
time to build a big, hulking stone keep to manage these troublesome Irish.
Burn this if you can, while we throw boiling oil. By the way, the boiling oil thing is a thing, but I made an entire dedicated video where we analyze the actual sources. It's both on my main channel, but I think I made a better version on the Metatron history channel. So if you're interested into that, because sometimes it is used, but it's not as common as people make it out to be. And oftentimes, in fact, rather than oil, which was expensive, they used tar, which I mean, boiling tar on your skin. I'll go without.
They quarried limestone and sandstone to create a stone keep, a curtain wall, and gatehouse.
Yeah.
All added along with 2 moats in 1176.
Oh, so I didn't say it, but I was thinking in my head, it's one of those without moats. No, the moats were there, they just drained it. Man, imagine the defense capability of this. So you have to deal with them shooting you, you have to deal with these massive walls, and there is the moat. Yeah, good luck with that, we'll burn it.
This keep is 3 stories high and shaped like a cross.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That will teach you Christianity, all right?
Unlike any other keep, it has 20 right-angled corners. It's likely the holes on the top floor would have been where a wooden walkway was placed, which would have given extra defensive spots to attack any advancing invader.
Those freaking medieval engineers, I swear. Like we oftentimes think about, look at the Romans and their engineers, absolutely outstanding, I'm not saying anything. We take this for granted. This shouldn't be taken for granted. The maths, the engineering, the architectural understanding, the knowledge of the materials, the selection of the right type of stone, the quarrying procedure, the organization, the personnel. This is insane that they did this. It's phenomenal. I mean, medieval history still remains my favorite. Give me anything medieval. Absolutely.
The curtain wall itself would have been 450 meters long.
400?
The ground level of the outer area of the wall would have been much higher than now, standing at 8 meters tall and 2 meters thick. This would have been where they quarried the stone to build the curtain wall. It has a 2-story gatehouse built around the year 1200 that would have been guarded by a bridge and the outer moat.
I love imagining all the male wearing helmet, spear, walking around. Lovely.
Like many Norman castles, it has an outer and an inner bailey.
Bailey, yeah.
It's clear this place was designed to be utterly impregnable.
Of course.
And an imposing symbol of the new English domination of Ireland.
Insane.
to trade.
Well, now they stuck an Irish flag, so I guess that failed, but eventually. But no, sure, in the Middle Ages, 100%.
All the days, from this day to that.
Mel Gibson's Braveheart follows the story of William Wallace.
Why are we talking about Braveheart now? I'm not sure. I know this is an older movie, but every time I see the blue face paint referencing the Picts, but in the Middle Ages, which is like, why? It just gets me every time, but whatever. It's still a fun movie. Very good video, though. I really enjoyed it. I usually don't watch the entirety of the thing because it's massive, but I'm going to give him a like right now. And I think they should do more castle reviews because that was fascinating to watch. I actually really, really enjoyed it.